All right, I need to get these dwarves off of this and go back to my trap, which is down here. Because the goblins are just starting to enter it. Bobby Kotick has become a stray war elephant, by the way, in case any of you wanted to know. Okay, let's also go over to here. Say everybody does this. And everybody does this. Actually, could I add something to this? Yeah, so let's do refuse hauling as well. So I'm going to keep this on only select to do this. And then this will be everybody does this. So everybody's going to assist with bodies. Only a few dwarves are going to haul normal stuff. Shrek the Crundle Burner? That short of Shrek, the gremlin killing a Crundle went up the other day. And I've got a lot of people responding in comments to that going, what the fuck is a Crundle? And honestly, fair question. I haven't told anybody, but I should just respond with a vile creature of pure evil. Okay, so let's get the last few out of here. Let's just follow you. And then all I gotta do is this. I'm gonna enjoy these traps while they still work. Before siege stuff changes all of how this works. Somebody should be coming. There we go. Seems to be this surgeon. Now I got two things to do, which is first, I can go into here and turn this off. Second, I can go up to here and pull this. And also pull this. No, but I've baited multiples of them onto the surface and gotten them killed by sieges. I actually had a goblin, which I haven't looked at the statue yet, which is this. It's a silver statue of a forgotten beast and maggot. Maggot is a goblin, and the forgotten beast was a maggot. I think it was a maggot. Anyway, it was a giant bug. Bosa, Maggot, is shooting the Forgotten Beast, Azok, by the Forgotten Beast, Azok, and with a silver arrow from an iron bow in SKULLPONDERS in the early winter of 1094 during the rampage of the Forgotten Beast, Azok, Mine Lakes, and then that goblin showed up again the next time. We horribly murdered the goblin. Well, actually, I think a human soldier murdered the goblin. Like, one of the trade wagon defenders murdered the goblin. Yeah, big fire-spewing grub, basically. So have I considered that? It's not that effective in reality. Yes, I've done it. But it's not as effective as maybe you want it to be. They kill them pretty effectively. Like, 2 squads of dwarves with mixed weaponry can pretty easily take out most Forgotten Beasts, and same goes for sieges. We also did the same thing with we did the exact same thing with a Bronze Colossus. Slow and painful? I don't know. The only negative moods associated with being set on fire in Dwarf Fortress is being annoyed upon choking on smoke underground. See? They do experience trauma when they see their friends dying in the lava, but they themselves don't actually get any pain from it, really. Well, I guess that one got a minor injury, which may have been from them, like, running into the frickin' wall, even. Gold nuggets? Okay, what have you claimed so far? Adamantine wafers, Forgotten Beast bones, gold nuggets. Okay. That's going to be an expensive artifact. Yeah, that's going to be an art, and it's a weapon smith, so it's going to be a weapon artifact. Grundles equal free combat experience and free stress from having to clean them up, so I don't know about free. Yeah, it's going to be a really valuable artifact. Yeah, I don't really care about the value modifier. I care about the coolness factor. And it has a personal Greg coolness factor of higher than, you know, pig bone. The most expensive artifact I ever made, I don't think you could make one as expensive anymore without abusing bugs, because the value calculations of artifacts were changed. But I once had an artifact that was valued at it was like 3 point something million, and it was a corkscrew. I would never ask what item they wanted, but probably everybody will parlay for it for all time. And I will never read their parlays and just kill them. Or send them to the burning chamber. There's also a troll here, apparently. Which it looks like it was killed by a bolt. Well, this is going to take a while. Trying to mug you on a parlay and you sent out your military to them and now it's 67 dead dwarves. Dwarves are actually like one of the scarier people to fight just because they can go into martial trances. Which makes them a significantly bigger threat than like humans or goblins in like a fair fight. Like if you have similar numbers against dwarves and your dwarves aren't that well trained, it's actually like a significantly larger threat to have to fight other dwarves. These goblins like, man, I didn't know we siege and get jigsaw. Oh, this is far from the worst thing I've ever built. Probably the coolest defense I ever made, or in my opinion, one of the coolest defenses I ever made was for Stonewater, which was pre-Steam. And it was a series of towers with a bridge that went around the towers with patterns on it. And the towers were all sitting in a basin of lava and would pump the lava up to the top of the towers and spill them over the edge. And then the towers were each dedicated to a god, and they were full of statues my dwarves would worship there in between sieges. And my hope was that the goblins or trolls would topple one of the statues and get cursed. But it never seemed to happen. So. Like chocolate fountains of pain. As a diabetic, that's just a chocolate fountain. But, yeah. It's evil. You know, that fort went from a population of 170 to a population of 12 at one point during its construction because I got such a bad Titan. It was a fire-breathing Titan, and I was not equipped to fight it. Goddess Todd, thank you very much for the 31st month. Welcome back, mate. It was the last fort that I did before Premium came out. You cannot turn into an undead if you topple a god statue, but dwarves in fort mode that topple statues either become a were creature or a vampire, and in adventure mode, it can be any number of things from vampire, were creature, sheep, you just get bad luck for a while, a permanent injury, heals all wounds, various different things. You once ate half of a decent-sized watermelon and you got a headache for hours. Trust me, it's probably not anything like it feels, because if you're not diabetic, you wouldn't get any symptoms like that. Sounds probably more like a mild allergic reaction, and that's nothing what it feels like. At least not for me. Maybe other people have different experiences, but... A lot of people have minor allergies to various fruits, so it's possible. But trust me, that's nothing what it feels like. It's not a minor headache. You can turn them off later on. I don't really have a choice of where they go. Don't know if the pathing would go through. You just have to... I mean, the dwarves won't go through constant falling lava. Huh? Oh. God damn it. Also, chat, can I get a round of beers for the 31 months from Goddess Todd? Only DS posted beers. We can do better than this. No, because the subtitles on YouTube and Twitch are different. On Twitch, it's not a officially supported Twitch feature. It's just something their player supports. And there are various different plugins that have different implementations of subtitles. The one I use is pretty simple, but I run it locally. Other implementations do things like pinging Google text-to-speech and various other things. Speech-to-text, rather. So it's up to the setup on the users, on the streamer's side, not the player itself. And my setup is pretty basic and can be disabled and enabled, and I think you guys can change the font size. And it's been a while since I've looked at it. Yeah, well, YouTube also is a video platform, primarily, right? I know that we've been over this many times, but I don't need to discuss the differences between the two platforms. That is too much lava? No, it's exactly where it's supposed to be, so it's fine. It is exactly where it's supposed to be. I don't know, but like, for me, for some reason, I wish this wasn't the case, but discussing why one platform is bad versus the other, it just never feels good. It just sucks. How did I make that? With pumps. Is there a video on it? No. I know how pumps work. I've got videos on how pumps work. I've got videos on lava shotguns. I got all sorts of random videos about lava and things you can do with lava. Is there a video on this exact setup? No, because it's like a really shitty basic setup. I pump lava out of here. It goes into here through these pumps and then down into here. And I just pull a lever and it go whoosh. You could watch the VODs, yeah. I don't know which VOD it would be in. It's all pretty simple stuff, really. There's nothing like particularly advanced here. All right. Oh yeah, I also need to turn off these. And then that'll stop the lava from flowing in from here, which actually I'm kind of curious. Okay, so it is below that. I was wondering about that. Alrighty, Dolkin. We'll see you later, dude. Take that squad off duty. And see what you're doing. I'm actually going to go through here and pause a whole bunch of tasks. Let these dwarves take a bit of a break. Let that lever get pulled. Leave one of these running. And that'll put a bunch of dwarves in positions where they can go socialize and do things that they need to do. We'll watch this dwarf. But yeah, when it comes to like, is there a video on like specific things? There's a lot of stuff that I do pretty frequently in forts. Things like pouring lava on stuff and stuff that I don't have specific videos on because to me, I think a lot of the fun of Dwarf Fortress is discovering these things or figuring out that you can do a thing or seeing somebody else doing it and trying to mimic it. If I just step-by-step explain how to do it, at the very least for me, it would ruin a lot of the fun. Maybe it would enhance the fun for some people, but for me, it would kind of take away from it for quite a bit. So there are certain things that people have asked me to make videos or tutorials on that other YouTubers have that, I mean, sure, you could go watch their videos if you want, but like, I don't know. Creativity is the fun of a lot of Dwarf Fortress for me, and I think that I'll give you, in the tutorials I've made and the videos I've made, I give people all of the tools that they need to go about creating these. Also, this dwarf picks sapphires. To go about creating all of the tools that they need to build that sort of stuff. But it's up to you to figure out how to build it in a lot of cases. Totally. I mean, I can't remember what I was trying to do, Nutty, but there was... I want to say it was Head Punch when I was trying to make railguns. And somebody in chat popped in one day, and I think I got really irritated with him, which is probably something I shouldn't have done, but popped in and was just like, you're doing this wrong. Why are you doing it this way? You should do it this way, this way, this way, and this way, and use this and this thing from the wiki and link the wiki page. I'm like, I'm specifically trying not to do that. Because like, I know how the theory works. And I've done it before and made other setups work, but I've never done it like this and made this work. And I would like to try this and see if I can make this work. And to me, I think that's a lot of the fun of it. I'm actually gonna take all of my soldiers off duty temporarily. Entirely. Let them all go get new clothing and gear and stuff and put all their stuff away. When they're done with all of that, and when this artifact is done, and this dwarf is done with that, I'll get them to re-equip everything and we'll go back. Yeah, that stuff sucks. Wait, where's all this? Uh-oh. Where actually is this miasma coming from? May have been up here. Wild. Okay, let's just keep following that dwarf. Not really. Or maybe I just don't get them. I think like Dwarf Fortress is at its best when somebody asks for help with a solution and you get 15 different answers. So this artifact is rough sapphires, dacite blocks, bloodthorn logs, gold nuggets, rough red diamonds, gold nuggets, forgotten beast bone, and adamantine wafers. Well, it's not going to be a boring artifact. It's not going to be a worthless artifact. I can tell you both of those things for sure. I'm also going to start up one of these. Got dwarves praying up here in this temple. Enter Bunny and Delia becoming religious figures in this temple. Can also knock out these walls and go for this, because I need to get that tooth out of there. That's probably stressing people out. Up here can just get more jet. What used to be in that empty void around the stairwell? Lava. That's what used to be in that. Also, I keep forgetting to mention this, but my faction's general is an elf named Servesh Takegates, which is a very dwarven name. But yeah, that used to be a lava tube. What's the word? That used to be a lava tube. I drained the sea, not all of it, but a lot of it. I think I'm gonna pen pasture a fox up in here. I'm gonna disable this temporarily. Actually, let's just hit this. Not this one, this one. 'Cause there's a lot of items in here that I need to get out of here, and I could just fill this up with statues. Although, actually, let's get rid of this. And just engrave maybe this little corner right here. Wow. Mebzuth Matzengamost, the weaponsmith, has created Ganisetelmith, an adamantine spear, and offers it to the enjoyable knowledge. How much do you think this thing is worth, chat? At least one. Correct. Sorry, I need to screenshot this for a humble brag. Because, damn. Son. Get a load of these. But this is an adamantine spear. All craftsdwarf is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with cushion native gold cabochons and decorated with forgotten beast bone and bloodthorn. It is encircled with bands of forgotten beast bone and native gold cabochons and single cut sapphires. This object is adorned with hanging rings of dacite and menaces with spikes of adamantine and red diamond. It's 175,800 Dwarf bucks. That's my current record since they changed the values. I think I really want to assign that to the military, but I know it's not going to be put to good use. So I'm going to put this on a pedestal behind bars in the Queen's throne room. Also, Elfie, I just saw your DM. What was that in referring to? What were you referring to with that? Sounds like a squad leader. The thing is, I'm not prioritizing melee, right? If I was, then sure, but my melee is just a bunch of cannon fodder. Like, they don't even have metal armor right now. To give you an idea. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. So, I don't know. Like, on one hand, I'm kind of really tempted to... Holy shit, I've got a lot of gems. On one hand, I'm kind of really tempted to go the... give it to a squad leader route. But on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know. I am just increasing the value of things at the moment, though. Let's just throw some rose quartzes in here. The other thing I'm going to do here is don't I have a... I do have an encrust furniture with gems task. Is it out of range? Or do I just have that many? Maybe it's assigned to somebody specific. Nope. I'm just gonna get rid of this. Just go encrust. Furniture with cut gems. We'll do it monthly. If cut gems is greater than 50. If it's greater than 50, we'll do, let's say 25. I don't need that many. How's your dwarf doing? Are you still with us? Yes, you are. Quite happy, actually. You are an adequate marks dwarf. You appear to be picking up equipment and getting clothing. A lot of dwarves had old clothing that needed to be replaced. You were in the process of doing so. A lot of dwarves are actually replacing old clothing currently. A lot of dwarves are up to that currently. This is something I'm waiting on. Let's make sure the burrow's not on. We're also up to late summer. The other thing I need to do is go over to here, go back down to here. Put one silver statue there. And then just say gold statue. Let's make a bunch. We'll see you later, Ryder. Take care of yourself, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a shame that the adamantine spear didn't get made, but it's still a cool thing to have and hoard, you know? Upgrading some cabinets. And whatever it is you're upgrading. Ah. Wheelbarrows. We're fancifying my wheelbarrows. Speaking of fancifying, now I just need to wait for summer to end. And then we're going to go back to digging this. Although, there's probably a few of these I can just dig out right now without worrying about it too much. I'm just going to dig out spots that I know are going to be safe. Just by looking at them. Tuning the wheelbarrows. Pimp my wheelbarrow. No, it's more of a like encrusting the wheelbarrows, making them fancier wheelbarrows. It's actually what's being done here. Actually, you know what I could do? I could Just do bars. Vertical bars. I don't really do anything with Electrum all that often. Because that'll block movement and stop dwarves from dropping stuff. I'm also going to go into here. Set everybody to haulers pretty soon. But all the way back up to here. Not done yet. Smetty requested a dwarf. I didn't see it. The weakest dwarf. I don't know how to define that. Can you be a bit more specific with a task that you would like? Because strength is like a stat in all dwarves and it's hidden. So I don't have a way of detecting what is the weakest dwarf. So what would you like that isn't that? Because I don't have a way of determining that. Dumbest task. No such thing. Would you like a male dwarf or a female dwarf? I am using DF hack. Just not the way you do. Male dwarf. Okay. Give you the least upset unnamed male dwarf, who's a stone carver named Muthcat. The reason I consider, like, worst task or weakest dwarf or whatever, like, pointless is because tasks change constantly, and I always specialize my forts. So I have, like, 1 trillion weaponsmiths in this fort and a bunch of clothers. So there really isn't anybody who's useless. He actively avoids exciting or stressful situations, and he lives at a high energy and kinetic pace. He's prone to strong feelings of lust, and he tends to avoid crowds, and he does not have a great aesthetic sensitivity. He's conflicted by this for more than one reason. He is quick to form negative views about things, often feels discouraged, and doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing his mind. He often acts with compassion after seeing a goblin's dead body in 1095, and occasionally overindulges. He generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity and needs alcohol to get through the working day, and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Got a nice set of clothing, probably all new. He dreams of raising a family and personally respects perseverance, values nature, and thinks friendship is important. Doesn't care if others take the time to master skills. He likes conglomerate and steel, as well as almandine and greaves and ballista arrows, in the words of the Golden Gorge, and when possible prefers to consume herring, pendant amaranth beer, and can't stand bats. He worships Codwell, and he has no friends. He's a member of the Bronze Sect. Codwell is the god of gems and minerals. Because bars look nicer. Literally, that's my logic. Also, if I decide I want the bars back, I can get them back easier than grates. But mostly it's because grates, I don't think, conform to the walls around them, whereas bars do. And I've always liked that. You haven't seen a commercial for a bit in the YouTubes, Brian? Well, I guess it's time to subscribe to twitch.tv/BLINDIRL. That's your commercial. Okay, let's select the random dwarf. Dwarves are now going to potentially go get new equipment. And it's a lot of iron arrows. Also, for those of you complaining that weapon racks and armor stands don't work, see, they do. See? They absolutely do. Dwarves even go equip their gear off of them. The gremlin, I caught him in a cage trap using crazy shenanigans. If you want to see a lot of details about how I do that, I have a video with the word gremlin in the thumbnail. Just go watch that one. It's like an hour long. Although the how to catch them is explained in the first, like, 5 minutes of the video. All right. Simply put, a very physics-bendy trap and taking advantage of mechanics that aren't intended to work the way they work. Gremlins are fun. Spear. Just right there. And this, I've got an adamantine floor, or sorry, not an adamantine, a sapphire floor grate, which I'm going to remove from this floor and use it as a grate for this. Because I think that'll be really cool. Is he friend? He is friend. Well, he's a member of the fortress, I guess. Technically pet. Have we killed everyone in hell yet? No. I've safely solidified, like, a layer of hell, though. And I made I didn't, but one of the dwarves made an adamantine spear, which is the most valuable artifact I've made since Steam. Just make sure you don't have stockpiles for the armor types that you want the dwarves to put onto the armor stands, basically. So if you don't permit squad gear in stockpiles, they work. And you also need to have them in a barracks, and you need to have that squad set to store their equipment in that barracks, and among other things. Put item on display. That's what I would like to see. Well, if somebody wants to draw it, they're more than welcome to. Perfect. Ads are running, so I wanted the saving to start, but ads are mostly over already, which it's not ideal, but it's the best we're gonna get. %10 of the fortress's value? Well, that's a she, for one thing, bid 13. But, I don't think it's quite 10%. Is it weird, chat, that I don't pay any attention to or care about fort value in Dwarf Fort? Christus, what up? It's good to see you. Like, is that a comment? Like, every now and again, somebody will ask me, I'll be like, all right, yeah, that's a stat that the game tracks, is like your total wealth. I care about exported wealth until I have enough gifts given out so that all the events start happening, but, like, I don't know. It's not something I focus on at all. Kind of period. There's hemp, but it's made into paper and clothing. Smidley. You can do your drugs in real life and play Dwarf Fortress. Why do you need drugs in Dwarf Fortress? Yeah. There is, like, several mods that add some pretty extensive variety to of drugs, and every single one of them isn't like... It all kind of just takes like the RimWorld implementation of drugs and is like, we're just going to do that. And it's like, fuck that. Don't do that. If you want to give us drugs, give us like another series of things to craft and like let us make pipes and like cut out all these fucking overpowered bonuses and weird addiction mechanics. We don't need that. Really don't need that. All right, 175,800. That is not a quarter of the fort's value at all. You need to export 2,000 wealth in order to get them offering you noble house and also be a metropolis. That is literally all you need in order to get royalty in Dwarf. That's it. That is all that you need. So, to me, that just kind of translates to it's not that big of a deal. It's like, I care about room value for satisfying nobles, but outside of that, no, I really don't. I really don't care. All right. I think it's time for us to go back to digging, chat. What do you think, chat? Could dump a bunch of water in here, but I don't see the need to do that at this exact moment. Dig, 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 yes. Something, something, Dwarf, and I'm digging a hole. There is definitely lava behind that. So instead of doing this automatically, let's do it this way. Could also be down here, though. Trying to find a pickaxe emote, and apparently there isn't one. Well, I have this, and then there's also emoji. That. Those are the two variations of pickaxe emotes that I am aware of. The spear is 175,800. Jesus. Well, this dwarf is learning to swim. Probably not what they intended, but... Deep within this place, we've uncovered what must be treasures of the gods, which is a large bright metal greaves, which doesn't have a sprite yet. Because it's large. Also, let's just say extract metal strands. 5. If the number of strands is greater than Oh, no, not that. If the number of raw adamantine is greater than 3. Okay, well, that explains where all the lava was coming from. What are you doing, Dwarf? What are you doing, Dwarf? Nothing wise. Well, good news is... What are you doing, Dwarf? Not what you were doing. You should walk away. That's a bit of a problem. There's no way up or down anymore. How about I unforbid this and unforbid this and go here and go construct stairs up here. Although not using whatever's closest is a bad idea because I need to use those 2 obsidian block boulders. So let's instead go here up to here and do that. Oh, never mind. Instead you... Oh, well, you're still on fire. There is water up there. You could put your... I tried. You can't accuse me of not. Oh, well. Oh, well. It's a shame, really. Back to the realm of things burning. And we'll dig through that and hopefully put that out in a reasonable time. I mean, I guess I could just go down into here and dig through these. And this. Although, how deep is that? 2? It's not that deep. Athel was found dead, which is good. Silly dwarfs. Yep. Very common feeling. Silly dwarfs, gotta love them. They never do anything right. If they did, life would be a lot easier. But it would also be a lot less fun. Okay, so we've got this done. That thar done. Ah, I was waiting for that. We've unleashed an echo of forgotten divine retribution. Wow, I can never roll my R's. It's crazy. All right, that's bad. Run away, McDorfy. But up here are me squatties. So if this dwarf runs really quick, they have pretty good odds at living. The question is, what is this? This is a Kusut's Fighter Spearman, which is a eyeless lizard in humanoid form. It has a tendency to laugh quietly to itself, and every so often, and its lavender scales are large and close set. It was created by the human god Kusut and is part with lies, stars, treachery, and trickery. Dwarf is not running the wisest direction, but did get some good hits in. In fact, the pump operator successfully struck it with an iron pick, which tore apart its spine. I'm also going to tell these squads to just go kill it and see what they can do. It is winded and bleeding, so this dwarf's actually killed it, assuming this dwarf doesn't die in the process. But seems to be taking on almost as many hits as they're giving. If I pause combat, the pump operator bites it in the body, which bruises the fat through the large blazing cloth shirt. It must have like a Thrasher logo on it or something. And then the fighter spearman is shaking the dwarf around, bruising the bone. The pump operator bites it again in the left hand. The Marks dwarves are running into position, climbing down. The pump operator is rolled away, is overexerted, is in slight pain. And the dwarves are now shooting bolts at it. And the creature is no longer with us and is dead. The dwarf is still bleeding heavily, but not yet dead. And actually managed to get the kill. Kusuts. Bane, unless you guys got something better. Is now this dwarf. Rest in peace, you shall die in legend. You've earned a grand title, dwarf. And a caravan from the dwarves have arrived to trade. Pain was going to be your suggestion. I mean, it's not a bad suggestion. I mean, great minds, you know? Something in the other end is such and such. Great minds think alike. Now I just got to clear this. I've unleashed another Echo of Forgotten Divine Retrobonk. This is a Uja's Enforcer Lasher, which is composed of ash. It has mandibles, and it mutters to itself about death. It was created by the human god Uja and is part with death and murder and suicide. This dwarf is hopefully going to run faster than the other one did. Okay. Well, that's maybe not great. Let's just jump to where this dwarf is. Let's actually just go here. Send them down to here. This dwarf just jumped down and then ran. Did you manage to get a hit in? No, you didn't. The Lasher is equipped with long rusted metal lash, rectangular rusted metal shield, and it is moving towards my dwarves at an alarming pace. Enter Bunny, the Holy Gravel, is in the process of getting gear. I'm going to tell my dwarves to go fight. I think Enter Bunny's about to die. Enter Bunny gets thrown down and is having trouble breathing. But is trying to climb back up. I think did, actually. And is now getting fought from above by that creature. Enter Bunny is missing repeatedly. It is one of my skilled Marks dwarves, but just didn't have their gear equipped. Because my squads are still between fights. But I think that may be Enter Bunny done. Rest in peace, dwarf. You fought well. Unless you die here. Oh, no, not dead yet. If you survive this, which I don't think you will because you cannot breathe. It's a shame. Chat, can I get a round of Fs for Enter Bunny? 2 good dwarves dying. Far too soon. There's no saving that dwarf at this point. Emergency short surgery could theoretically save them, but... it's not happening, unfortunately. Good news is, the last of these are probably safe to dig out. With great wealth comes great cost. Fun indeed. Is the queen dead? Nope. Queen's still alive. Currently. Oopsies, that's not the tool I wanted. That's the tool I wanted. Uh-oh. What? Huh? Was there just like a puddle of lava in that? That's annoying. Hate these goddamn booby traps, man. Like, that's equally annoying, but... I think that also just swooped up a dwarf, didn't it? Remind me why I don't like doing this next time. Yeah? It's like, that was just, what, 3 dwarves? In pretty rapid succession? Well, let's go up here and trade. I love how these large gems are like consistently less valuable than the smaller ones. All right, let's do that. They shall not be forgotten until tomorrow. Just joined, what's going on? Working our way towards the very end game. Speaking of endus, the Forgotten Beast Totas Asengek Amaksu has come. A huge feathered goat. It has 3 long straight tails and it squirms and fidgets. Its eyes glow amber. Beware fire. Yup. Thankfully, it's in the layer where it can't really get to us. Phantom? Who's getting buried? Kusat's Bane. GDI 5. Speaking of what's going on, how many people are actively watching the stream? Could I get a round of beers in the Twitch chat? And in the YouTube chat, I don't know, hit the party button. I'm thinking about playing a little bit more of that game that we tried out for the first time yesterday. What do you think? Maybe in about 15 minutes here, after I get a few more tasks completed. You immediately clicked away when you saw it? You know, it's really funny to me because people are like, hey, Blind, why don't you do more variety? Or do you play any other games? And then whenever I do, I just get overwhelmingly punished for it by my pre-existing audience. But like, yeah, I guess you could do that if you want. I was just kind of curious how many people are interested. I take that as a no. Got it. You're scaping but listening? Gotcha. As in RuneScaping or like diorama-scaping? Oh my god, I haven't seen somebody use that, the black and white variant of one of the emotes, in I don't even know how long. Kind of forgot that was a thing. Yep, I mean, I asked 2 questions. I'll take it to mean that you're making a diorama in that looks like RuneScape. Letteran, I'm not going to be mean to you. Anybody can do it if you just train your audience for it. That's got absolutely nothing to do with it. If you're a large streamer with a built-in audience that's used to variety, you can do variety. Get away with variety? You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Just because you watch VTubers that do variety, there's lots of streamers that do variety. I, unfortunately, am bland and uninteresting, and I know this. Because I'm a generic white dude who doesn't do anything particularly outside of the norm for most streams. So the only thing that I have that's interesting is the fact that I'm the guy who plays this game. So the reality is, the only reason I ever got a career in this industry was because I was dedicated enough to playing one game a lot. And so when I try and do other things for my own sanity, people just leave. And it's like, well, okay, I won't have sanity then. I'm sorry. So I don't know. I'll think about it. For the trillionth time, don't be sorry. I built my own coffin and I live here. It's my fault, not yours. It's a tomb of my own creation. You have your skunks now doing basic projectile attacks to prevent skunk from exploding by replacing the flame jet with a custom material with stink syndrome. There you go. I don't know if you can replace it with, what's it called? I don't know if you can replace it with, miasma, but do that if you can. No, this is just, I think, normal creature modding. They're trying to make skunks be skunks. I don't know, I'm bummed out, so I don't know if I should even bother at this point. GSD. I don't know how to say your name because it's just a bunch of gibberish. But I'll just call you Letters. Letters in YouTube chat. It's a game called Lost in Prayer. It's a traditional roguelike. But I don't know. Yesterday was the worst view count I've had this year. And this month has been the third worst I've had this year, so maybe I should. I don't know. I'm overthinking it now. Tis in fact summertime in the city. No, because I value my career, so I didn't play Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was a game that everybody that I know who streamed it for like a week, and then their view counts got so bad, most of them stopped, and then played it off stream with partners, which I don't do because I don't have one. So no, I didn't play Baldur's Gate because I valued my financial stability. There's this running joke among streamers, which is like stream killers. Which are there's certain types of games that are really good if that's the only thing that you do, like Dwarf Fortress, as an example. But if you're more somebody who does something that's different than that normally, and then you try to do that thing, nobody will watch. And Baldur's Gate's one of those games. Another example of this is like Obscure 33, Claire Obscure, or whatever the name of that game is. Like, if you are known for not JRPGs and you try and play that game, good luck! You will wreck your stats for the rest of the month. So you know YouTube's smarter than that, Scissordes, right? But unless you're saying that you're going to put me on the second browser so you can go play, in which case go do that. I recommend you do that. Let's just pause this for a sec. Do that instead. Whew, that was a little close. So I also have this large blazing metal coat, which is pretty dope. Oh, wow. Well, there goes that dwarf. Sorry, Bim. Viking funeral, I suppose. Yeah, well, videos are not streams. Ironically, like, I do, like, when I do variety stuff, I do better on Twitch than I do on YouTube. I mean, yesterday, when I played Lost in Prayer, the Twitch stream went from, it was like 150 concurrent viewers down to like 110, which is a pretty big drop. YouTube went from like 120 to 30 in like 2 hours. YouTube is brutal for streams that are not normal content. Thankfully, it doesn't matter so much, but like... Wanting to say thank you for all the streams and the entertainment you've provided over the years. Hopefully, eventually you can come back to the streams more often. Hey, mate, we're like in the polar opposite time zones, so... Don't worry so much about it, Nander. I'll just have one tab for each variant of this stream, Scissordes. Don't worry about doing it on multiple browsers, because I don't think that actually does anything. Oh, and Ander is, you know, full-time employed, has kids, and lives in Australia, so it's like about as hard as it could possibly be to watch my streams. Nightminus? What? Does this dip happen when you stream DF to the same nighttimeness? I don't... What? What does that mean? Lady Dwarf Doctor. Chief Medical Dwarf is Merlin Buff. Every other doctor is named. Give you the broker. Yeah, we'll give you the broker. She generally is unhindered by the thoughts of others concerning her actions. She forms strong emotional bonds with others, at times to her detriment, and she is very trusting. She doesn't handle stress well, and she thinks that she's fairly important in the grand scheme of things. She tends to hang on to grievances, and she generally acts impartially and is rarely moved to mercy. She tends to be passive in discussions and doesn't really seek out excitement. She doesn't often feel envious of others, and she tends to think before acting. She's quick to anger, and she enjoys the company of others, and she tends to avoid physical confrontations, and she works to square this natural tendency with her respective martial prowess. And she needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. Dreams of raising a family, and personally believes that perseverance is one of the greatest qualities that somebody can have, and she views tranquility as one of the highest ideals. She respects the development of a skill and dreams of raising a family. She likes porcelain and trifle pewter, as well as honey yellow beryl, rings and crutches, and the sound of the velvety incenses, and when possible, prefers to consume giant tick and barley wine, and absolutely hates lizards. People aren't expecting to watch. me if I stream later in the day? Do people leave anyways, like as it gets later in the day? Yes, but not that fast. Like, if I stream Dwarf Fortress until like 8 p.m. Pacific, there will still be 150 people watching in the summer. And there will still be like 80 to 100 people watching on YouTube. If I switch games, it's going to drop down to 15 on YouTube in 3 hours, and it's going to go below 100 in 3 hours on Twitch. Like the drop off is significantly increased. And like it's proven just by the one statement that was in chat, which was I clicked off immediately when I saw it. Like it's people want to watch a specific thing, and I get it. I don't blame them for that. It's something that more or less I just kind of regret bringing up now. That's all, really. And it also bums me out because I'm very much looking forward to Jupiter Hell Classic. And I'm kind of expecting to have to choose between having a consistent paycheck or playing that game. You know, Jesus and Caesardes, do me a giant favor. Please don't open up every device in your house and watch my stream. I appreciate the effort. It doesn't matter. Okay, and the reason I'm going to say that is what matters is I would rather have 100 people watching and 25 people talking than 1,000 people watching and 2 people talking. So just opening more devices is just kind of moot. You're just hurting your own battery life. Anyway, chat. I am trying extremely hard to not just end stream right now because I feel like I'm going to be stuck on this for the rest of my life. Like, for the rest of the day, I'm going to be stuck here, so I don't know what to do. I'll see you later, Frosty Noodle. Yeah, I don't know. Chat, give me a different subject. Give me anything else to talk about. Something else, please help. Picking up equipment. Let's go back to digging. These people are all on YouTube, but it's not that they have anti-botting measures. Twitch isn't that dumb. Neither is YouTube. Like, they know it's just somebody on the same IP address watching. Favorite bread. Currently, I have this sourdough that has pecans and dried cranberries in it, craisins, which is very good, which I picked up using up the last of a gift card that I have at a nice bakery up the street. But anything that has sourdough in it or rye, and I'll like it. Not white bread, generally. That's the best answer I got. On the spot like that. All right, I got a fish dissectors withdrawing from society. It's my favorite food, edible food. I don't really like inedible food. I also don't like food that tries to kill me. Oh, Jeff's been missing for a week. Well, rip. And I've got a dwarf that just went and claimed a masonry shop. That's an unusual one. Where you've had tiles that had lava on them become impassable forever? Do you have temperature enabled? Because that sounds like one of the artifacts of not having temperature enabled. Well, that's not a bug. That is a direct effect of not having temperature enabled. I probably can't answer them. I'm like actually really not knowledgeable about World Gen. Unless it's like simple stuff. I'm not actually the most knowledgeable on that particular subject. Shocker, I know, but there are some things I'm not that good at in the Dwarf Fort realms. Some migrants have arrived. Haladorfia. Grab a pickaxe. Fresh morons! I do play adventure mode, yeah. Adventure mode is like a 2-hour session in between forts, though. So it's pretty easy to, like, not really see it all that often because I, you know, stream a fort for the better part of a month. And then I play 6 hours of adventure mode in between forts. And then the next fort starts. So it's pretty easy to miss it. But yes, I do play adventure mode. I think everybody should, or at least play it at least a little bit. It's just not as long of a play session game for me. I do have a couple of videos, Jersey Smith, on advanced world gen stuff for the stuff I do know. It's one of those things where, like, if you want to learn how to do advanced world gen specifically, your best bet is to just simply go to the advanced world gen section of the wiki. And then whenever you need to figure out how to do something, just Control F because that's one of the best pages on the wiki. I only got one dwarven civ on each landmass every time you generated it. Increase the number of civilizations. They also only spawn on mountains. Or only appear in World Gen on mountains. Favorite kind of tree? One that doesn't have a bird on it that shit on me. I like trees. But if it's defending bird shitters, then not a fan. Yeah, no, the lava will stay there in the game forever and dwarves won't go there because the dwarves will still think there's lava there if you don't have temperature enabled. I'm willing to bet it's a temperature-related thing. You should leave temperature enabled is the actual, like, life hack advice that I can give you. There's some old constant advice, which in some cases is still accurate, that if you disable temperature, it drastically increases your frame rate. I don't think that's all that meaningful these days of an increase. Like, I get maybe a frame. In version 47, it was kind of a big deal, so I think a lot of people disable it on habit, and a lot of people suggest it as a form of helping to improve frames. But for me, I find it to not really be that big of a deal. Oh, that was quick. Actually, no, we're okay still. Walk away, 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 walk away. Okay, whew. It was close. Dwarf survived, though. Narrowly, but survived. The lava did actually occupy the same tile as that dwarf for a very short second. Actually, why don't I do this? There we go. It's a lot of blocks right there for some reason. Okay, even more lava. Let's just forbid everything down here. Now it's clearing, slowly. Fish Dissector has created an obsidian figurine of dwarves. Offers it to the enjoyable knowledge. I have a hard time carrying, but I'll go read the description. This is an obsidian figurine of dwarves. All craft ship is of the highest quality. On the item is a masterfully designed image of dwarves in obsidian by Nomal. The dwarves are laboring. The artwork relates to the foundation of SKULLPONDERS by the Curse of Knowing in the lean paddles in the early spring of 1070. The item is decorated with hemp and encircled with bands of rectangular obsidian cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of obsidian and rope, reed, and fire, opal, and guinea fowl leather. On the item is an image of gear dyes, the large slick metal left glove in obsidian. On the item is an image of rope reeds in purple spannel. It's an oddly valuable figurine. That's like asking, is place that exists fun? I feel like anywhere can be fun. It's more about the activity that you're doing or who you're there with. Yeah, that's fair. The it feeling safe comment. Although, I don't know. I've known enough people who've lived in Australia, or not Australia, in Japan, that have run into problems because they aren't native to Japan. Like, weird run-ins with the law and shit just for not being from there. But I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever truly feel safe. Like, not safe, like, unsafe, like, around other people. Like, just walking around in the street. But, I don't know. I'd be worried living there. I think that's the case for any country with a drastically different culture than the one that people who migrated there originally from, or were originally from. Like, that's a pretty common sentiment, I think. Like, being lonely. Crundles once again. Great. Like, I know somebody who's a game designer. Well, I don't know him. He was just on a podcast that I listened to for quite some time. He was a game designer. He used to work at Rockstar, and he's British. And he lives in Japan. And almost got arrested as a suspect as part of a domestic abuse case just because he lived in the building. Like, not even on the same floor. Something evil is emerging from the newly exposed pocket. This is a bristleworm fiend. Oh, that'll probably be pretty weak. It's a large, hairy bristleworm. It has an enormous shell, and it undulates rhythmically. Its hair is long and straight. Beware. It's poison vapors. Okay, so it's going to pop up here in a second. Welcome to the wrong neighborhood, buddy. This dwarf is immediately bleeding to death. And it's moved up a floor. And it's immediately killed Phazon, which is actually not that bad because that dwarf is really depressed all the time. And Ingush, one of my recruits. And Amost, one of my other recruits. Now, where did it go? It's now falling down. One of my miners is trying to be a hero and probably about to regret his life's choices. Just going to tell my whole army to go kill this thing, or try to. Maybe I'm a little bit overly optimistic with its strength. Very optimistic with its strength, apparently. Firing misses. Strikes it in the shell, chipping it. Strikes it in the shell, tearing it. Strikes it in the shell, and its shell is gone. It's now bleeding. Heavy bleeding. Well, the creature's now dead, but we lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dwarves. I think it's probably safe to say I should start lining the halls down here with tombs closer by. Such a shame. All right. I've played about 5 hours, 5.5, maybe a little more, of this fort. I got a beast with poison sting, which can also get to us. So I'm just going to go line these dwarves up. And I'm starting to make poor decisions because I've been playing for too long and it's hot in here. So I need to either change games or call it. So now I get to make the decision. Do I change games or call it? Because if more than half the people watching leave, my time is better spent video editing. What do I want to play? The game I was talking about earlier, which I was immediately informed by chat that they'll just click off, or did the last time they saw it. So I don't know. That's not how the industry works, Stromako. You play the thing that pays the bills, or you go bankrupt. I don't know. I'm in a very melancholic, shitty mood right now, and to be honest with you, I don't know why. Do what's in your heart? I don't have one.
Letter and cheered, X1000. Do what's in your heart.
No interest, Triz Lonic. Because that's how the brain works, Stromako. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm picking you on you. It's not the intent. Because it's kind of it's like saying the quiet part out loud, I suppose. Maybe you need alcohol to get through the working day. Fuck, I hope not. I don't want to be an alcoholic. It's not a good way to live life. Oh no, run away, dwarf. When you can make it. There you go. But don't come back. I mean, actually, believe it or not, Stromako, for clarity here, I appreciate it. Brutal honesty can be useful sometimes. Because if you did that, that's definitely something that other people did as well, right? And sometimes, as much as it can suck, that can be a helpful bit of feedback, believe it or not. So. I think tomorrow for this fort, I'm going to just lock the caverns. What? Is there Crundles killing people? What just killed you? Unrelated, maybe? Wow. Rhythm's dead, Serena G's dead, and Cilantro's dead. Well, you know, we all have important talents that make us useful in life, Stromako. There was a Iron Maiden cover band from Vancouver. This leads back to the Japan discussion. Called Power Clown. And half of them got arrested for like the better part of a decade in Japan. Because one of them thought it would be a good idea to try and bring weed into Japan. That or like forgot it was in his bag. I don't actually know what the full story was there. But the short answer is guy got arrested trying to get into Japan with weed. And we're gone for like 10 years close to. Thanks, Punch Elves. Don't bring weed, says Erdes, if you're going to Japan. But have fun in Japan. Hey, you got Patolis. I haven't seen Tolis in a while. Kinda miss Tolis. He's a good dude. Norway's pretty far away, though. Oh, game's paused. I was like, why is nothing moving? I have almost no interest in going to Japan. I like the aesthetics of, like, pop culture Japan. But actually going there, I've... Shrug. I don't know, it's just... It's a place that exists. I don't particularly care. Like, I kind of get the appeal to a point, but... I mean, the parts of that I like already just, you know, gets ported around the world pretty effectively. Like, if there's anything Japan is really good at, it's exporting the cool parts. En masse! So, I don't know. Everywhere is a capitalist hellscape. Kaiju. Well, maybe not everywhere. Most places in the world. I would rather go anywhere in Canada A liberal part of Canada, so not Alberta. Basically. Basically just not Alberta. Well, parts of Saskatchewan and parts of Ontario. So basically just not Alberta. And even Alberta's like, not that bad. Some Taxagon. Oh, wow. A ghost just toppled one of my statues that's named after a dwarf named, so apparently you can die if you're furniture. Today I learned. I cannot, what's the word? Have any input on that statement because I've never been to Norway. I have listened to Going Norway many times and it's a good song. But I've never been to Norway, so I don't know. Maybe it is. Hasn't even been that long of a stream. I don't kill coyotes. In YouTube chat. When it comes to terrain, sure. I mean, I've during the pandemic, I played quite a bit of what's the name of that video game? GeoGuessr. I played quite a bit of GeoGuessr during the pandemic, and there's a lot of places in like that part of the world that aesthetically are very similar to Canada. Like most of Finland as an example. Like every time I see Finland, it's like, oh yeah, that looks like part of Canada. Oh yeah, that looks like part of Canada. Oh yeah, that there looks like part of Canada. Yeah. I don't know. You know, yeah, I guess if you've never had it, it's worth trying. Lobster, but certainly not my favorite foodstuffs. It's a bit messy. I don't know. I feel like if you live in Norway already, I wouldn't leave that continent. Because you can get a lot of very different stuff without leaving the continent. And still get to see a lot of different places. And it's a much cheaper flight. Or a train ride, even. Because they only acquire items when hauling an item, and they'll only acquire items that they have the ability to store. If they don't have a bedroom, or they don't have space in their bedroom, they can't store it. So if they want to acquire an item, they'll only acquire it if they're hauling it, and if they have a place to store it. I recommend making a gift shop, which is basically just a minecart track that goes in a circle. That is set to load a couple crafts, with the crafts in the middle of it. And then they periodically load the minecart, and then when the minecart's full once every 90 days or something, the dwarves push it in a circle and then unload the items back into the same stockpile. And then put it in the middle of your tavern. If, like, you really need them to acquire items. There's also the side fact of it's almost impossible to satisfy every dwarf in your fort, so don't worry about it too much. I wish I was in a better mood, but it's going all right. Zemo dear. Dwarves cannot make artifact food, and I'm not familiar with any mods that allow dwarves to make artifact food. Because artifacts are not... You can't make artifact items out of items that are... what's the word I'm looking for here? You can't make artifacts out of items that are not... that are consumable. You can only make artifacts out of items that are not consumable. Why do I need to look up a new people? I know plenty of people already. Sorry, I saw that word. I don't even know what you're talking about, let around, and I had to make the joke. It's right there. I mean, come on. I knew it! Exactly. That's kind of where my head went. But yes, that is sad. Grim world we live in. I think this is a subject I'm going to politely step out of. One, because I'm just not super knowledgeable on the subject, and two, I want to be depressed for the rest of my life. Or at least for the rest of the day. Alright, let's jump back up to here. And, I think I need to close off a cavern lair. Right here. Once they're done placing all of these items in tombs. I mean, you can basically make artifact value meals if you have a decent chef in your fort, but no, it's not something that you cannot make a consumable artifact. I think I remember asking Tarn about this at one point in an interview, and his response essentially was just simply, why make a one-use artifact when they don't give any permanent benefits? So, like, in order to do something like that, he said it would be something closer to potions or magical stuff to give, like, a permanent benefit versus, like, it's like an artifact, you know, you put it on a pedestal and then people try to steal it, right? If it's a meal, somebody just eats it. So, I don't know. I could see a world where that would be something closer to, like, I don't know, maybe... is a way of making magic potions or something, but Ryan Littlefield, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate you. Ground level in this fort is 10. It's above sea level is more actually the reality. But chunks of it are. That castle section is above ground. I don't know. I don't like WoW or RuneScape, so the better question is why are people still playing WoW and RuneScape? I don't know. Are they? I don't really follow. There you go, tired poet. It's a big thing. Is it? It's not that big, because I've got no idea what you're talking about. It's clearly not that big of a thing. It sounds like a bubble that a lot of people are hearing about if you exist within that bubble. Also, I think Gristoth here got the juice for you. I mean, there are potions in Dwarf Fortress. There's also poisons. Both of those things already exist. I mean, if you like survival games, probably. I've heard very mixed things about it from people in my chat, but I don't know. They all kind of feel and look the same to me. I played MMOs at one point in time, but I didn't ever play MMOs because I liked them. I played MMOs because all my friends played and liked MMOs. When I stopped having friends, I stopped playing MMOs. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, really. I don't know. All I really have to say about that survival game is the aesthetics of the wizards from RuneScape are cool. They always have been, always will be. Drama tore your guild apart. It's the reason I don't like playing games with other people. It's drama. I have a hard enough time managing my Twitch chat. I don't need to also have to manage other humans. No, vacuum cleaners suck. People are just kind of annoying sometimes. Got you bumped to play Warhammer Reckoning? Was that the name of the MMO? Because I know there was a Warhammer MMO for a minute there, but... I mean, fair enough, Big Baza. Oh, probably. There usually is. When it comes to out-of-date MMOs. Assuming someone was able to get their hands on the code or reverse engineer it. I mean, in a world where more recently City of Heroes is playable again, people who like MMOs are crazy. And we'll make anything work if they feel like it. I mean, neither do I. It's cool that people can play it, though. Like, there's lots of games out there where I'm like, why would you... What's wrong with... I mean, okay, if you insist. There's lots of games like that. Where it's like, I have no idea why you in your right mind would want to play this, but I'm glad that you can. Related to forced you to play it? Yeah. I mean, that's why I generally dislike anime these days. So I'm right there with you. When they broke it at launch and then released and ruined it and massively relaunched as free to play. I know that Lawbreakers, speaking of games that nobody cares about, Lawbreakers recently picked up a little private server scene, which it's also quite cool that that exists. Even though, like, most humans in their right mind don't care. Had a rather complicated and freeform character build system in the beta. Yeah, I remember a friend of mine talking about it. Well, somebody I knew. The paywall enjoyment community? Is this why people who play gacha games call themselves degenerates? Or is that because of the content of the gacha games? Just received a PR email for a video game called Let Them Trade, which, before realizing it was a video game PR email because of where it came from, I thought it was like something from Ground News or some other political thing. It's funny. Which is made by a fellow recovering MapleStory addict. The only video game my brother-in-law plays is Walkscape, which is that RuneScape exercise idle game? Exercise tool? I don't know really fully how to refer to those games. It's like you put it on your phone and you complete quests by walking. Yeah. So it's like an idle game, but you only, like, instead of tapping, you exercise. And then occasionally open up your phone and tap complete quest a couple times, I guess. I don't know. Also, I think, I want to say it was a fan game that then was officially licensed after the fact or something. Like it was just a little Patreon thing. That or it's just a Patreon thing. I think it might have ended up like the Meldvor Idol or whatever that thing's called. Sounds like Pikmin Bloom. Don't know what that is. But that sure sounds like the name of a video game that I haven't heard of. Let's get the last of these gems out of here. Did I try Norland? I was waiting on a big update, and then I stopped paying attention to it for a bit, and then I played a bit of it and was like, oh, this is really cool. And then the next day I got a notice that they just put a massive update into their beta branch again. So now I'm waiting for that update to release, and it's been 2 months. I have this problem with early access games that I sort of follow and don't actively follow, where like I lose all enthusiasm to play them the literal second they're like, we've got a big update coming. I'm like, well, I'll wait for that because that looks cool. So. Is it more like RimWorld-ish? Kind of not really at all. It's like, I know this is a weird call, but like, it's like Settlers. If Settlers really, really, really wanted to be a Crusader Kings fan game. So not really, because it doesn't have the RimWorld building. Like the only similarity it really has to RimWorld is it's got similar looking little bean people. Sort of like how like RimWorld and Prison Architect have the same kind of bean people. But gameplay-wise, they're kind of nothing. Like it, I guess. Have I played Valheim? I've learned quite a while ago, Max Fog Records in YouTube chat, I fucking hate games where you walk around and punch trees. I find them all to be the same and really boring. So no, I haven't played Valheim. And part of the reason I haven't played Valheim is I know I won't like it. And so I would rather save chat the pain of having to listen to me bitch about how I hate it and just not. I think those are games that are really fun if you enjoy playing games with other people, probably. Every time I've tried one, I've just kind of fucking hated it. Sure. I mean, I think it looks really pretty, but the music is nice. World design is nice. But as far as actually playing that game, no, I have zero interest in Norland. What about Deep Rock Galactic? It makes me throw up due to motion sickness. I've tried streaming a couple Paradox games, and it was a combination of I don't ever want to interact with this community again, and I am bored shitless. I don't really want to put the time into learning them because I find the community insufferable. And the last time I tried streaming a Paradox game, I was informed by one of my moderators that that was the least interesting, worst stream you've ever done. Because I asked for honest feedback. He's like, I think that was maybe one of the worst streams you've ever done, dude. I was like, well, okay. So, unfortunately, yes, I streamed Stellaris. I've played Total War. I don't like streaming big strategy games. Kind of for the reason that I just stated. Total War is another insufferable community. Jesus Christ. You want to be informed about how terrible you are at a video game and why the specific game in the series that you're playing is terrible and why you should not be playing that game in the series and you should actually be playing this game in the series, and also your strategy is bad and the way you play the game is bad. You look ugly. Your mother is a banana and your face looks like a lemon. If you want to just get all the weirdest goddamn insults thrown at you and be called bad at a video game for hours, try streaming that. Or ban half your chat. It wasn't quite as bad as Stalker, but... Because, although, admittedly, I think my take might be tainted a little bit because the last Total War game that I streamed was Total War Troy, which was fine, but I got it for free. I don't know. It was given to me because I had an Epic Games account. I haven't logged into it in forever. So I was like, I'll try this 'cause it's free. Why not? And I was informed for like 5 hours that I was terrible at video games, and I was playing the wrong Total War game. And honestly, like, that's fine. Genuinely. But I have this problem where I have no interest whatsoever in Warhammer Total War. Because I kind of don't care. So I don't know. I'm good. Hard pass, thanks. Why? Jesus. Goblins arrived and immediately left. Without going into too much details, I don't want to play Undertale for the same reason I don't really watch anime. It was my ex's favorite game. I'm good. Oh, wow. Well, somebody killed it. Flying iron bolts struck it in the upper body, breaking away the tissue. I guess that's what happens when the creature is made of water. I mean, back in the day, I played quite a bit of Rome Total War. I quite enjoyed, at one point, the historic Total War games. Like, I think I lost the better part of a summer to... Medieval Total War and Rome Total War, between those two games. But, like, at this point in my life, I don't know. I think I've just kind of, not accepted, but realized that I'm far too rusty at big strategy games. And I would have to dedicate a shit ton of time to get competent at them again. And I just don't like being informed that I'm terrible at video games by my chat. It gets really old really quickly. And I know that, like, this is a conversation I have pretty consistently with my chat, but, like, you know, we talked earlier about how I mentioned maybe playing something else today and was immediately kind of spooked off by a comment in chat. Because I know that that's the prevailing standard. Like, that's how most people feel. The worst effect of that I've ever seen was when I tried playing big strategy games. So I think a part of it for me is just, like, mental, where it's like, I know that every time I've tried to stream games like this, everybody's tuned out. And that makes me significantly less enthusiastic to try again. Because all that comes back is, like, either the bad memories of the one time I tried streaming it, or, like, maybe unfair assumptions about what will happen or how it'll be received. And that makes it very difficult for me to do things, which is a really toxic trait that I need to get better at, but... Yeah, but you don't broadcast it to the planet, right? Letteran? Certainly not at the scale that I do. We just lost another dwarf to this. Cool. Well, since it's full of lava already, might as well go up to here and add this into the mix. I have a mortgage to pay, Smildy, and bills to pay. I live alone and I'm a single income. So I don't just need to push through. I need to keep at what I'm doing and what works. Because there are other games that my community likes. And there are other games that I like. But I need to be intelligent and not fuck my business up. Right? I think that you are misunderstanding the problem here a little bit. If you think that there are no other games that my community likes, because that's not the case. What I want, if I were to snap my fingers and change everything, it wouldn't be just I want another game that my community likes. That's not the point. No, the point is I want to be able to try different things. But I don't have that privilege because, as Letteran pointed out, I'm not a VTuber. Because all failures are based on the fact that you're not a VTuber in the current era of the internet. No, I don't know. I've been doing this for a very long time. I'm in the very fortunate position if I have a thing that works that I like. But I'm in the unfortunate position of wanting to be able to do different things sometimes. And I can't. Nah, I'm just teasing. Literan. I fucking hate visual novels as a thing to stream. Just because YouTube chat's talking about those briefly. I played... The last visual novel I played was... Oh, Jesus. What's the name of that video game? Doki Doki Literature Club was the last visual novel I played. That game was fascinating. But I didn't stream it. I didn't stream it back then. I wouldn't stream it now. But that game was fascinating. No interest in Slay the Princess whatsoever. It's not a nightmare. Flagrant facts. It depends on the game. For whatever it's worth, throughout my entire streaming career, I've always been stuck on a game. It's not always been the same game. But the entire time I've streamed, I've been stuck on a game. For a while there, I think the most variety I ever had was when it was mostly modded old city builders. It was like Roller Coaster Tycoon, SimCity, a couple of other things. That was like, I think, the widest amount of variety I ever had. And then that got more and more narrow. And then Planet Coaster came out. And there was the occasional RimWorld in there. And that whole audience for old PC games basically just turned into like Planet Coaster. And I kind of didn't like Planet Coaster. But I played like 1,000 hours of that stupid fucking video game. And then eventually just kind of said, fuck it. And stopped. And went all in on like RimWorld and a few other games occasionally. A lot of Elite Dangerous. But RimWorld was the only thing that ever did well. And I started to hate that game and just wanted to play Dwarf Fort. And slowly started weaving Dwarf Fortress into that. And then I just at some point said, okay, my stream's going to die because everybody was stopping watching me again. And I started playing Dwarf Fort. What, around 2018? Late 2018? And I've streamed other things since then. I mean, I streamed like 600 hours of Jupiter Hell in there somewhere. But like, nothing has ever done as well as Dwarf Fort for me. I think the problem is, and the problem that I've always faced in this industry, is pretty simple. People watch the game, not me. And I've always tried to remedy that, or work on that, or improve that, or make it less of an issue. But it's always been my reality. No matter how much I work at it, people have always watched for the game and not for me. There's always going to be, like, and whenever I say that, there's going to be a portion of people in the chat that are like, that's not true. Yes, fair. But the stats say otherwise. Not really. A Kerbal Space Program guy. I'm weird about Kenshi. I've played Kenshi. In theory, I should love Kenshi. But there's something about it where as soon as they announced Kenshi 2, I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for that. I would rather shoot both my feet off than become a VTuber. You need to realize that, like, my ex was the biggest fucking weeb of all time, and I think I'm going to have scars from that one for the rest of my life. So there ain't no fucking way in hell. Like, I would rather quit this industry and just go work in fast food for the rest of my life than become a VTuber at this point. There is nothing appealing about that. It's not a funny joke if you think it is, but I'm glad you're finding it amusing, Smidley. Or Smidley. I keep wanting to say your name is Smedley, like as in the old Sony Online Entertainment CEO. I don't think Songs of Six is my next game. I've streamed 250 hours of that game, and every time I play it, letters in YouTube chat, I play it for about 30 hours and then kind of wish I didn't. Like, I like it less. I've liked it less every time I've played it in the past year. So, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it's a game that I could dedicate a lot of time to, but I've played it for, like, almost 200 hours, and every time I've played it in the past 2 years, I've liked it less. So I don't know. I don't disagree with that in regards to Kenshi being a masterpiece. I will be honest with you, I think I played Songs of Six before like 98% of the people in the stream. Like, humble brag here, I played that game when it was a free demo on itch with one comment because I saw it in the news section. So, $35 adamantine. Wafers. I'm just going to condense my squads a little bit. So that they're a little bit more consistent with where they're located. That's fine. And then adamantine. Do you want me to just tell you why every game that you've suggested is a game that I've already streamed and I'm good, or... Because I feel like it's just going to turn into me complaining, Smiltly. I streamed about, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen hours of Mountain Blade Warband, and it was okay. Got a little annoying being told that I was terrible every time I streamed it, though. That was a long time ago, admittedly. When Bannerlord came out, I played it, or came out? When Bannerlord came out, I played it for a bit, and quite enjoyed it, actually. But I got a little tired of being informed that I was playing the worst game in the series and that they need to make it better. Very similar to my experience streaming Stalker, actually. Even though I was enjoying it, and it kind of like made me enjoy it less. And then I was like, all right, well, I'll wait until they finish it and release it, and then I'll play it. And I went to go do that and like started scheduling a stream and was informed by about half of the people in my chat at the time, or a large portion of people in the chat at the time, that said, oh, that game is terrible. You have to install this mod, this mod, this mod, this mod, this mod. And I just have never gone back. Which Stalker game did I play? Well, I've played all of the first one, the very first one. And I've never played Clear Sky. I've streamed all of Call of Pripyat, which was fine, but tested my patience. And I've streamed about 20 hours of Stalker 2. And I think I'm good on streaming it. I've played more since then. But similar thing. It's basically a you're dumb for not playing Anomaly kind of deal. I quite like it because to me it just feels like a sequel to my favorite Far Cry game, which is Far Cry 3. Sorry, Far Cry 2, the one in Africa, not 3. And I just, I don't know. I don't like being informed that people hate a game constantly. Also, my audience kind of didn't watch it at all, like Ulik just kind of stated in the YouTube chat. I mean, it's no more of a play-by-yourself game than Fallout. So. I think I'm giving people, like, an unfair rap of how I've been, like how I've encountered people in the past. Because it's really not that bad, right? Like, you know, I'm very lucky. I have a very fun job, and I happen to really enjoy it. I think the issue that I've encountered over the years is just I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm an emotional person, and I remember. And that's a me problem that one of these days I should probably get another therapist and talk to them about it. I mean, Stalker 2 is a 7 out of 10 game that I've really enjoyed the time I've spent with it. But I don't need to hear 15 reasons why it needs to have these 18 features from, like, a version of the game that's so heavily modded it's not even representative of the game anymore. Like, I don't know. I had therapy that worked really well for a while, and then I went to, then I ran out of the sessions I could do at that place, with that situation, with that therapist, and tried to find similar results from the private sector and was never able to do that and gave up. Got tired of just feeling fleeced, so. There we go. We now have adamantine helms. It's kind of necessary in some ways. I'm not going to go into too many details, but at the end of the waterway. Waterway? Which waterway? I'm not sure which waterway you're referring to. I don't really have one in this fort that I'm aware of anyway. Oh, you mean like down at the bottom, this thing? This? I mean, this is water wheels. By the smelters. Oh. I always forget that this is here because I built it like 40 years ago in game. It's a drawbridge. And, yeah, no, this is a very old thing that hasn't been used in a very long time. Yeah, it's just a drawbridge, and then there's some pond grabber remains in it. Looks like we're fighting with troglodytes and crundles. Simultaneously with my elephants. And one of my militia dwarves is very heavily injured. Bobby Kotick is also injured. So is Stray War Elephant. See you later, punches. Looks like dwarves all over the place are acquiring new helmets. All right, let's jump back down to here. Dig through all that. Dig through all this. Smooth that, and smooth that. And maybe this too. This over here can all be dug through because that's safe. And this right here can be channeled into. Factorio can be mentioned here, I just will never play it. What are my top 5 games of all time? What's funny is I don't think my response is going to be anything like you expect. Gem Cutter has been possessed. Well, Cogmine's on that list. In my heart, I would say probably favorite games of all time. Just Tetris as a franchise, more likely, Emily Dodd. I mean, Tetris Effect is in there for sure. But just Tetris, the franchise. All right, here we go. Trackmania 2. Tetris Effect. Caves of Cud. I hated streaming it, but Citizen Sleeper. And the first Age of Empires game. It's between that and SSX Tricky. Although, I could also give, but you said all time, I could very easily give you like top 5 roguelikes or things that are actually maybe better recommendations. But you said all time, so that would be the all time for me. What is Caves of Cud? It's a very, very, very large open world roguelike RPG. It's a very dense game. It's a game that I like to stream, and I do stream from time to time, but I play it about once a year because it's a lot of effort to stream. It's a lot of explaining what's visually going on a lot of the time. And I tend to get really beat when I lose a run. Like, just really defeated, kind of, I guess is maybe the better way to put it. And so I often just kind of have no energy or enthusiasm to play for a while after I lose a run. But I really like Caves of Cud. I think that game is very, very good. So like the ASCII version of DF Adventure Mode. If that's your only similarity point for traditional roguelikes, sure. It's not that similar though, because it's, you know, it's more like if Baldur's Gate, well, Baldur's Gate's a bad example because again, it's nothing like it. There's nothing like Caves of Cud, so I can't really say anything. It's a turn-based open world RPG in the traditional roguelike format, and nothing is really like it. Plenty. Drew, plenty. But we're going, digging through it, one piece at a time. See, that's not what I wanted to do. No, I'd be willing to bet one person in chat has played Tome. So, and they'll be like, oh my god, Tome mentioned, and they'll freak the fuck out, and everybody else will be like, the fuck is a Tome? Is that like the album Atoma? Can I atone to that? Building this damn kitchen? Are you talking about in a video game or in real life? Banana arms. It's almost like you're the one who started this subject. Noted. A ruby bucket. And claims it as a family heirloom. This is a ruby bucket. Well, craft store ship is of the highest quality. On the item is an image of an octahedral octahedra in ruby. Doubt? Sus. Twitch chat, banana arms is sus. Deep within this place, we've uncovered what must be a treasure of the gods, blah, 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 blah. Where is it? It's back here. It's a large, bulky, crashing metal shoe. Crashing metal shoe. It's like clown shoes. You know? This is a bucket. That is true. It is, in fact, a bucket. That is a very accurate observation. Thanks for noticing, YouTube chat. Oh, boy. I'll just let chat argue about that one. I'm not going to step into that one, Moreb. That one's all on you. Also, adventure mode is turn-based, by the way. That I will say. It is turn-based because the style of turns that it uses is a second or a ticks system. So turns just take place in a turn. in a second, and things can be faster or slower than a second, or take multiple seconds to complete. It is a turn-based game. If anything, it's the other way around. Fortress mode is technically a turn-based game. It's just the turns run concurrently by default. Now we're going one turn at a time. But the game would be significantly slower if run any other way. So you've kind of got it inverted. You haven't been playing anything recently? I'll be honest with you. If I didn't play video games for a living, right now I would be playing maybe Tetris Effect in the evenings and then like nothing else. Also, when it comes to roguelikes, Brogue is the fucking GOAT. You should play Brogue. If you've never played Brogue, you should play Doom the Roguelike. You should play Cogmind. You should play fucking Jupiter Hell if you have it. Have I tried Satisfactory? Ha! You're new here, aren't you? I'm not a fan of anything with conveyor belts, thanks. I'd like to play more Cogmind. But I don't want to soil Cogmind for myself. That's my most anticipated game, Ledren. The most accessible traditional roguelike, I'd say. Except for maybe Doom the Roguelike. Emily, you're saying strange things that make me kind of confused. So, I'm just going to let you say your strange things and not worry about it. You played Jupiter Hell all through high school? Oh, really? Were you watching me stream that at the time? Because I did stream a lot of that game. So you play normal video games for normal people. If anything, we could say that you're a normal person. Smildy. You watched it on YouTube? Interesting. Don't put your dicku in muds. That seems like a really bad or a really good way to get an infection, actually. Caveman crafting. Who's even normal anymore? Just try talking to people outside. You'll find them. They exist. Maybe that one guy that goes to the bar who really likes Morbius. I would say he's like kind of painfully normal, actually. Well, then that's a surefire sign. A very clear sign that you're not normal. I also said brogue, not rogue, but... Here. I think I still have a command for it. There you go. It's free. Go download it. There is also a open source community supported version. And also community tile sets for it if you want that. The city I live in has 3 of those. That around. Hey, look, another gremlin. Got another boy gremlin. And is currently being chased by this dwarf, who may beat him to death. I'm not sure. Run, gremlin! This isn't mine. This is an unrelated gremlin. This isn't Shrek, so don't worry. But this dwarf is definitely trying to beat the shit out of this gremlin. This gremlin's like, oh god, run away! Or maybe not. Maybe he's not trying. Okay, maybe he's not trying to beat him up. I'm a little shocked by this. Doink. There it goes. I would have to pull a lever to become friend. Didn't pull a lever, so I can't convert. That's a lot of water. It's a lot of water. Good news. Also a whole lot of adamantine. Have I played Dishonored? I played through the first Dishonored. I want to say that I played through that before I even streamed. What year did that game even come out? Yeah. No, I bought and played through the first Dishonored before I started streaming. At least actively. Long time ago. I tried streaming Thief, but nobody watched, so I stopped. I also tried playing System Shock 1, that first remake, because I always wanted to finish that game, because I started it a couple times when I was younger and never got very far. And so I tried, and I played through about 2/3 of it, and got tired of having a very quiet chat, so I stopped. Yeah. Streaming Thief was fun, though. With like a strand extractor. So Dwarf Fortress can too be a strand type game. I don't have anybody who's classified as a strand extractor. I do have several dwarves extracting strands at the moment, though, and I do have a crafts dwarf. He's very happy, who's actively extracting strands. This dwarf's a novice strand extractor. Thanks for sharing. Denbis. What's up, the Musketeer? Loving the sport? Me too. It's been a fun one. So I guess which one would you like? All right. One with the beard seems great. The really happy one? Thanks for gifting a sub, Ledrin. All right. Moreb is impervious to the effects of stress and is not a private person, and freely shares details of his life, is greatly pleased by his own looks and accomplishments, does not enjoy participating in physical confrontations. He works to square this natural tendency with his respective martial prowess. He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. He isn't particularly ambitious, and he takes offered help and gifts without feeling particularly grateful. He finds helping others to be emotionally rewarding, doesn't mind wearing something special now and again, and is somewhat uncomfortable around those who live or that appear unusual or live differently from himself. Sometimes act without deliberation. He can easily fall in love or develop negative feelings. And he has little determination and confidence. And he rarely feels discouraged. He often acts with compassion and doesn't cling tightly to ideas and is open to changing his mind. Doesn't focus on material goods and doesn't easily hate or develop negative feelings. Enjoys the company of others and needs alcohol to get through the working day. Does not mind being outdoors at least for a time. In terms of crafting a masterwork someday, and personally believes that the denial of impulses are the highest of ideals. That self-mastery and the denial of impulse are the highest of ideals after being forced to endure the decay of a friend in 1090. Finds the notion that one would persevere through adversity completely abhorrent after strengthening after experiencing trauma. Greatly respects those that value decorum and maintain their dignity, and believes that a peaceful and ordered society without dissent is best. Hates those that wield power over others. Finds the pursuit of skill mastery off-putting and doesn't care about nature one way or another. Dreams of mastering a craftwork someday. Crafting a masterwork someday. He's been in the fort since 1089, so getting close to 10 years. And most recently was content remembering being near a waterfall. Has no friends. Jack, can I get a round of beers for that gifted subscription? Please and thank you. I need to check. I was at 35 wafers at one point, in regards to how much adamantine I have. Hello, Taylor. Skull indeed. Skull just makes me think about Apithor. Rest in peace, you old weirdo. He was, in fact, a legend. Will I exile elves anytime soon? I actively trade with them? Why? They bring me food variety? Oh, make Mako Darkfire. It has been a while. I don't know. They're kind of unfun to fight against, Reggie the Rabbit. So why would I bother? I'm actively trying to fight with hell. That's the priority. Fighting with other things is kind of counterproductive, eh? But it's good to see you, Mako. Tis been a while. Also, one other thing I'll say about Dishonored, since somebody asked, I didn't play Dishonored 2. Kind of felt that Dishonored 1 was enough. At least for me. The last fort I was at war with elves with, I think, actually was the Cloud Thunder, which is the one that had the Gremlin Baron in it. Although it was less elves and more just like a trillion animal people, which was kind of fun in its own way. But no, I'm actively trading with the elves in this fort. I think one of the Necromancer towers is elf aligned though, because they ambush, which is kind of funny. And they also wield wooden weapons, which is a little silly. It's like zombies show up and they're just wielding like wooden sticks. It's like, well, okay, good luck. Something evil, this pocket emerging, yada yada. I was gonna say, are you stuck there, Dwarf? We should be able... That one's not gonna work, is it? But if I can smooth and fortify this... then I should be able to just bring these squads down here and... kill this guy. Spectre of Steam! Oh no. He's got a knobby shell and it undulates rhythmically. That's not going to last very long. It's a bubble. Spectre of Steam is about as strong as the NFT economy. Yeah, I've played on very small embark sizes once or twice. I don't particularly like it. I don't find it to be that fun of a challenge. I find it just to be a little bit annoying. I don't really get the appeal of that one, I guess. I've done it a couple times, but I'll do it again in the future. Have you ever tried to live in a closet? I've never moved to Japan, no. Oh. This is a shining metal bracelet, a shining metal crown, and a shining metal opossum man, a figurine. The item is an image of an opossum man in shining metal, and it is coated with water. Well, we broke it, Chad. It's going to rust. I mean, that's just because your computer falls over, though, Mareb. Also, merchants turn back before arriving. I haven't ever seen that, even on maps that big. I feel like that's mostly more likely to happen, though, if, like, they're just scared away by something or startled. Also, I was asked how much adamantine I have. 39. Currently. Which also makes me wonder. Adamantine helm. So make 20. An adamantine shield. Make 10. That is true, constantly being lost on the map for maps that large. That is very true. There's like no dwarves locally in the map, are there? But yeah, I'm just trying to finish up this fort, really. That is my current goal, is to just get this fort done. Hopefully we can do the big fight tomorrow, but that's usually an 8-hour ordeal. So if I don't get it done tomorrow, then ideally next Tuesday, I'll have this fort done. I do need to get more migrants and stop losing dwarves, which is why I've gone back to doing things in the... Yeah, okay. That's the problem here. Dwarves just literally can't get down here. So what I'm instead going to do is I'm going to station all of my military right here. And then just get the dwarves to channel down into this. Channel down in it. Wish us luck. Pop. Goes the demon? Blink and you'll miss it. Shouts to the water. Spectre, steam, Spectre, steam, water, and water. War bubbles. It's not really war drums. It's more war bubbles, but... Anyway, it's dead now. Just like Staples Business Depot, that was easy. It's compacted water, yes. Encased in water. But yeah, I don't know. I think, like, one of the things that I need to work on the most when it comes to my streaming career is I just need to get better at taking risks. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. And the reason I don't see that happening anytime soon, outside of games that I really want to play, is because I made the smart, decision to move. Which means I no longer live where I used to live. I'm a lot happier, a lot calmer, believe it or not. I'm a much better person where I live now. But it did triple my living costs. So for all of the benefits I have for like my mood and general attitude towards life and things, because I've moved, there is still that nagging reality of like, I did triple my living costs to move. So it kind of is not exacerbating other stressors that I had before. They were still there before, and they're not that bad. Because, like, I think my life has been in, like, kind of 3 eras since I started streaming. The first era was, like, when I first started streaming. Or maybe 4 eras. The second was, like, when I got partnered and it was like a part-time job, basically. And it was enough that I could do it as a full-time job with a part-time job. And then there was the part where it became a full-time job, but I made less than if I just stayed at the previous full-time job. And then there's the era where Dwarf Fortress released on Steam, where it became not just a part-time job, but like a job. And I'm doing better now post-move than I was in like the first 3 eras of that, like up until quitting, like even after quitting the job initially, up until Dwarf Fortress release. I'm doing better now than I was then, but I've got some of that stress back, which has made me significantly less risk averse than I was previously, and I was already risk averse. So, well, somebody got eaten by the lava. Rip. Small price to pay for adamantine, I say. Oh, 100%. Like, that's the biggest truth or reality. Oh my God. I want to punch a window, chat. That is the biggest reality with any job that is a passion, right? Any job that is a passion is something that can be ruined by making it your job. And that's something that I think any creative understands or probably has experienced. Was that 2 doors in that square? 2 or 3, I'm not sure. So like, yeah, I don't know. I think that like it making it less fun is besides the point. Because if I didn't like doing this, I would have stopped a long time ago, right? Is it more fun to just play video games? Fuck yeah, absolutely. But you know what's better than having video games? How many miners are still on duty? Plenty. Or you know what's significantly worse than having to do this job and only really having one game to play? Is having any other job that I've had in the past. So I would take this with the negatives over literally any other job I've ever had ever. So just like realize that, like, you can state the obvious of like, I feel like making any hobby into a job is going to make it less fun. Of course. Yeah, it's a given. That is the sacrifice that you make when you open a bakery because you like making cookies. You know, that's the sacrifice that you make when you become a teacher because you want to help people be smarter. It's the sacrifice that you make when you go into medicine because you want to help people. That is the case for every career. It's what happens when you go into music and don't end up becoming a singer-songwriter and instead just being somebody who does soundtracks for advertising. Or even you become a singer-songwriter and then you have to be creative all the time. Like, it doesn't matter what the industry is. That goes for everything. Once you get past that point, it's a matter of figuring out how to continue doing that. And I figured out how to do that. And I can absolutely continue doing that. Right? Like I'm not going to be like a Pirate Software and burn out in 3 years, you know? Like, it's not the kind of person I am. Like, I'll still be here in 5-10 years making videos, ideally about Dwarf Fortress. Just hopefully it's to a slightly larger audience than now, with slightly more consistency than I had 2 years before. And that's always the goal, right? Is you want to be able to continue doing the thing that you've been doing up until this point, but to a slightly larger audience with some more stability. And as many issues as I have with this job, I've always pulled that off, which is astounding, actually. Because, like, I know some of you are pretty new here, but, like, you know, I've been doing this since 2013, guys. Like, when it comes to Twitch and streaming, content creation in general, I sucked at it for the first 5. But I've been doing it for a long time. This ain't my first rodeo, quite literally. Like, I'm old in the grand scheme of things. And I'm going to teleport this dwarf out of here because I am so fucking tired of this whole mechanic. So what is this? A demon of brine. A lizard composed of salt. It has a pair of branching antennae, and it squirms and fidgets. Behind the computer gremlin mug? We were talking a lot about gremlins. Elfie, and I mentioned something about my old computer having gremlins. Elfie, being in chat, drew a picture of a gremlin in a computer, and I was like, hey, could you color that? And so I can sell it as a mug, and they did, and I paid them for the commission, and now we have a computer gremlin mug. There's a demon inside the lava? Not inside the lava, inside the tunnel. We exposed it by mining through it. It's one of the reasons I have to do this so slowly and methodically and painfully. I should make that into an alias for that command. Three, actually. YouTube chat. Ah. 2 dwarves were on that tile, I guess. This one, right here. And now they were all found dead. Right there. Got all these dwarves that need to go get new shields now. We also found these dwarves dead now. Should be 2 tombs. 2. The low tombs. Uh, 25 minutes is the cooldown on the name something redeem. It's not 30, it's 25. Close though. Look at that. How schwanky is that? It's completely, not completely, but slowly getting decked out in adamantine. Dwarves making wafers. What's up, Lobster? Also, Necron Tier, thanks for gifting a mug to chat. I think that's the first sale of merch I've had this month. So appreciate you, man. Although admittedly, I haven't put much new up there. Exclamation point enter if you want a chance to win. Goes all right, Lobster. Yourself? I should not allow adamantine in this stockpile. What does the most damage? It's not that simple. Damage is calculated on sharpness or weight, so it depends on if it's a sharpness or weight weapon. So if like a hammer made of steel, not great. Hammer made of adamantine fucking sucks. Hammer made of silver, pretty good. A sword made of adamantine is incredible. Sword made of steel is kind of good. A sword made of silver kind of sucks. Highly depends on what you're trying to do with the weapon. Hammer, by default, without it being an artifact, probably silver. Maybe bronze. Bronze is pretty heavy. Let's wait for a couple more dwarves to get down here. Let's cut through this. So when this gets dug through, a demon should pop out of here. Nevik, you've won that mug. If you click on that, I think it's a mug. Is it a mug? I should have actually read that poster. Yes, it is the mug variant, because that's also available on a sticker. And blink and you miss it once again, because I did. The mug has been won by Nevik, so click on that link. Anyway, yeah, it's really hot in here, and my brain is kind of dripping out of my ear currently. But, yeah, it depends on the type of weapon you're making, and a lot more so than just purely the, what's the best. There is no direct answer to that. Also, like, a really skilled dwarf with a really shit sword is going to be better than a normal skilled dwarf with a really good sword. Like, to the point where I almost don't care what material they use for most things. Like, I've had similar success using, like, leather armor and copper weapons as I have to using full steel armor. It's more about how trained up the dwarves are and whether or not they've been injured in the past. Boulders, not in the slightest. Corbin Smith. Chunks of wall, certainly. They asked in YouTube chat if dropping boulders was a viable strategy to kill demons. Boulders, not in the slightest. Not even remotely. I don't even think you'd kill a demon doing that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and go back to Y. Go back to only selected do hauling. So less dwarves are going to be hauling now. But the result is there will be more dwarves for picking up equipment and stuff that they need. And also more dwarves to, you know, do things like Put bodies in tombs once they're built. The tombs are built, not the bodies. With a wooden training sword? Oh yeah, no, that'll do it. Like, I don't know, I had a single dwarf with a bronze warhammer take out like 3 dozen goblins before getting crushed by my own drawbridge. Because, like, I don't know, he was really good with it. He knew what he was doing. Building bodies, more of a cyberpunk thing, but yeah. I catch your drift. I've got a pond that they keep trying to fill. I think I can get rid of this. Same with this. And the whole fort getting eaten. Yeah, it's like so-and-so was killed by a demon. So-and-so was killed by a demon. So-and-so was killed by a demon. Surprise! So-and-so, guess what? Also killed by a demon. Turns out, yeah, they can be. Kill your lobster. Does armor weight train strength? Yes. Lead armor can't be made by default, but it's one of my arguments as to why it's not always a terrible idea to not use wheelbarrows, because then they have to haul boulders everywhere manually, and then they train strength. I had a fortress that was full of absolutely indefatigable dwarves, and I never once put any of them in the military, and the reason they were all indefatigable was because they hauled boulders for a living. I kept that fort alive for 470 years, and most of the dwarves were, like, had unbelievable strength. Just because they were hauling boulders constantly. Oh, also a lot of lead jewelry. Once had a dwarf that was moving extremely slowly, and I couldn't figure out why, and then realized, oh, it's because... they're covered in lead bracelets. Although, the problem is they won't just take that jewelry off if they're getting chased by something, so make sure there's no, like, threats to their immediate safety that they must run away from close by. You spent ages trying to find them. When a ghost showed up, you figured it out. It's really funny when you see ghosts dying to drawbridges in Legends. Because it was crushed beneath the weight of a drawbridge by command of... And then it's always a random name. And in my headcanon, that random name is the player character. The dwarves give you a name. At least that's my theory as to what that is. I don't think your name is spelled L-E-A-D, though. I mean, this is SKULLPONDERS. I don't really know which fort you're referring to, but that is the goal of this fort, yes. Although the population has gotten real bad, so I don't know, we'll see. I mean, we're down to 89 dwarves. Which ain't good. We've uncovered what must be a treasure of the gods. It's a rusted metal prong. Like the band? Snap your fingers, I snap your neck. It's a song by the band Prong. Nobody's heard of them. Don't worry about it. I've unleashed an echo of forgotten divine retribution. Okay, dwarves, run away. It's scary out there. little scared. I think actually the way to do this is to tell them to station up here and see if they shoot down. They might actually shoot through this. Username checks out, Tired Poet. You have a good naps. This fort was at like 230 for a while, yeah. And then I turned the difficulty up to hard. And then it started dropping. Admittedly, it was a little samey on easy. So it's been more interesting, but it's been a bit of a challenge, which is good. I was kind of hoping they'd see through that and start shooting down, but doesn't look like it. So instead, I'll send them down here. Okay, so what is this thing? Oh, it is a crossbowman. It's in part with depravity, lust, and rain. It's got jagged, crashing metal bolt. You know, actually, fuck it. I'll just move them back upstairs. Go back up here, dwarves. And I'm just going to channel down through this thing. Actually, let's not go directly through it. Let's go right in front of it. I'm also going to bring squad down here if they're close by. Let's follow that dwarf. Trying to do this as safely as possible. Drew is going to go unlock it. Yes and no. I'm just trying to turn it into an instant pincushion, but we'll see. I mean, I could turn the difficulty back down to medium, although most of what had changed with the difficulty is kind of softened off. The sieges were real bad for a while, and I have the ability to burn the sieges now, so like I've kind of nullified the difficulty itself at this point. It's more just a matter of like, I need to play until we start getting... I need to recover migrants instead of just killing them when I get new migrants, because I've been playing very sloppily today. It entirely depends on your computer, YouTube chat. I will not recommend a cap of dwarves, because my definition of playable is not what chat's definition of playable is not what your definition of playable is. You can have as many dwarves as you want until your computer falleth over. And I do not ask me what the recommended soft cap is. The recommended cap is exactly what your computer runs and what you feel like tolerating. The current dwarf being followed. All right, you can't have it because they're already named. Next choice. The dwarves are shooting it. Is it shooting any bolts back? Flying iron bolt hits it in the head, breaking away half of the tissue. Hits it in the right upper arm, breaking away half of the tissue. Hits it in the other part, and it jumps away. This dwarf with a hammer smacked it, and it is dead. It is now water. Glub. Also, liquid cloth quiver. Cool. Yeah, you click on the difficulty screen. It's right here. Difficulty. Any military dwarf cap. Sanic is Mark's dwarf and is often sad and dejected and quick to anger, confident under pressure, and he has a noticeable lack of perseverance. He has a sense of humor, and he is quick to form negative views about things. He generally acts with an narrow focus on the current activity and doesn't focus on material goods. Tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects and doesn't mind a little tumult and discord in day-to-day living. He tends to be swayed by the emotions of others and can sometimes act without deliberation. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and likes working outdoors and only grumbles mildly at cruddy weather. Dreams of raising a family and personally believes that the idea of war is utterly repellent, but of peace at all costs, and prefers a noisy, bustling life to boring days without activity, and respects the law and doesn't see the attainment of knowledge as importante. Likes native copper and lay pewter and fire opal and common snapping turtle shell. Cave spider silk, gems and animal traps, and worm men for their wriggling. The sight of the velvet meadows, and when possible prefers to consume hard wheat beer and tapir's milk, and absolutely hates leeches. Absolutely hates leeches. Welcome to the fort. You're terrible at your job, and hopefully you get better at it. Because otherwise you truly have no hope. Now this dwarf is off to go fill a pond. Good luck there, dwarf. Do you have no nose? Oh, you do. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm like kind of going out of spite more than anything at this point. And also I realize I really need to finish this fort. Yeah, in regards to what YouTube chat's talking about with recommended numbers of dwarves, chat, what's your preferred number of dwarves to have in a fortress, and at what point do you kind of say, that's enough? For me, I stopped giving recommendations on speed for dwarves and also frame rate in general. Not because, like, I don't have opinions, but because I've had enough people say, that's wrong, my game runs worse, that I just kind of don't bother anymore. It's like it's very system dependent and also situational, like dependent on like how the fortress was built, but also dependent on like the circumstances at the moment on the map, which could change it. So like I've had people tell me, this always runs really well, and now and you said that this would make it run better, but it's running at 2 FPS. I'm like, I don't fucking know. So it's just kind of like a level of tech support that I'm kind of just not willing to do anymore, I guess. So, you know, that's kind of my whole reasoning for not really elaborating too much, I guess. That's a very expensive laptop, Jesus. 250 doors and 50 visitors. Set your frame rate cap to 1 so that you never notice any difference. You know, Mr. in YouTube chat definitely has the big brain plays here. Just set your frame rate to 1. You'll never notice when you have a frame drop. Bah! Yeah, no, absolutely. And also, like, you could just have, like, a warg dog that's trying to leave the map and can't because it's stuck behind in a tree that grew up beside it when it was trying to leave the map through the caverns, and now it's stuck there, and now your frame rate's 0 because you told that squad to leave. And, like, it's got nothing to do with the population cap. And, yeah, kind of because of that, I've just kind of given up actually giving people advice. Which is silly. I should give people advice, but... There's also, like, a lot less tips that I know of these days. There used to be, like, a few things where, like, you just build slightly differently and your frame rate doubles. And I think most of those are, like, null now. Like, the stairs thing that I used to always talk about was huge until the line of sight changes came in. And now, like, it doesn't matter at all. Things like disable your temperatures and weather were huge until SDL2 came in. And now it doesn't matter at all. And then, like, things like line of sight, multi-threading, and whatnot have, like, increased the frame rate again to a point where, like, it's really difficult for me to recommend kind of almost any frame rate things. Because I, like, don't even know any tips anymore, aside from, like, I don't know, look if something's blocked. Okay, so this, I think, just put out this fire. Hallelujah. All right, let's jump over to here. Get more stuff hauled. because I would like to seal this off. But in order to do that, we got to get rid of these gems. True, you could have less than 1 frame per second. LDM, not to be dumb, but like, you've seen this, right? It's been in the game for 2 years, mate. The best processor I've seen for Dwarf Fortress are the new Ryzen X3D series LDM. I have a Ryzen 7800 X3D, and it effectively doubled my frame rate when I got it, to the point where Putnam bought one. I think 35 is about where Dwarf Fortress is comfortable. For me, 30 FPS, it gets a little slow. Although it depends on what you're playing. Like, I find the game feels a little sluggish below 30 FPS, but... Got Dwarves forging adamantine shields. Hello, Bobtron. It's going all right. It's a bit too summery for my taste personally, but it's going all right. I run the Linux native version of Dwarf Fortress. Sometimes I will see if the Proton version runs better, and it almost never does. It's almost always either identical or slightly slower.
This is madness!
Madness? How is the hobo doing on this fine day, friend? I'm making adamantine helmets. Doing some D&D? I'm sweating. Although thankfully I'm no longer listening to the construction, because that stopped a couple hours ago. The X3D series of Ryzen chips. May the dice not hate you as much as they generally do. It's usually what I say to people who subject themselves to the D&Ds. Or I tell them the DMD's nuts. Because I'm a mature adult. That's why. Why do you have a wheelbarrow in it? You shouldn't have a wheelbarrow. Fucking speed up your shit. The hell? That explains why the gems are just sitting there for years. And also why these are sitting here for years. Makes a lot of sense. I need to channel through this once this ruby's gone. A Cyclops! Shazam! Well, I'm just gonna say Shazam, because that's almost Shazam. Shazam! Suvaslogan. Board test. A great humanoid monster with a single eye in its forehead. It me, ladies and gents. Oh, hey, you have a child. Who I haven't murdered, thankfully. So many times it'll be like, oh, they have a son or a daughter, and I'll click on this, and it'll be like, and they died here 6 years ago. The Earthen Duty has 71 notable kills. Oh, no, just kills. 71 kills. A lot of goblins and elves. Nobody of value, though. Typical. Well, there they go. Lining up. Let's see how quickly this fight's over. Chat, can I get a round of bolts? I have both a crossbow and a crossbow bolt emote now, which is pretty cool. And none of my mark stores were lined up in time. Or some of them, or rather, none of them really got any shots off, so. Well, time for plan B, which is scream loudly and die like that dwarf, or fight like this hero of an alpaca. Or that pig. Or die like Laya. Wow. It's the first time any of these creatures has gotten into the fort. Okay, we've got a wrestler over here who's charging in to fight it. Bolts are beginning to fly now. Even one of the kids is helping. Olan, who's punching it repeatedly, and says there's no need to feel vengeful. And the creature falls. Is that adamantine floor? No. No, this is a spore tree and jet. I've only seen one person build adamantine floors once. And that was, everybody's favorite goblin, I guess. Well, we did lose two named dwarves there. We're into mid-spring. Hopefully we get a little bit more luck in regards to migrants this year. The 2 migrant waves that we did get last year were tiny. So I'm really hoping for some bigger migrant waves, but there's only so much you can really hope for. I'm gonna let this out. Ooh, no, not gonna do that. I'm gonna let this out, which is going to seal off some of this. Deal with some of this water. Drain out a bunch of this lava. And give me more space to clear out here. Because once this dries up... Oopsies. Then I'll be able to do a little bit more with this. We'll be able to dig through all this. Let this cool off. And then I can go over to here and channel this stuff out. One at a time, of course. Once available, and it cools off. What is the goal here? To make it down to hell. Which... we're currently on layer, what, 64? It's probably on layer 73. If I put my mind to it, I think I can probably do it in one more stream. But I also need, like, 50 more population. So I'm probably just going to butter up the mountain home next time with a shit ton of value that they don't deserve. And just give them a bunch of gifts, like gold crafts and shit. So that they give me a bunch of free... or so that they send me more migrants. Because... or rather, not the mountain home, the traders. So that they attract more migrants. Because 87 population is not enough. I don't have the manpower for the work I'm doing. Pawing dwarves to death while they lie unconscious in a pool of their own vomit. Well, now you can put that mod onto the workshop and let other unfortunate souls subject themselves to it. How long do Gorlax live? They're 150 to 170, right? I don't know, maybe longer. I don't think they're immortal. recall ever looking at their age on the wiki, so I don't know, actually. My back is a little sore for some reason. I did a bunch of abs exercise yesterday evening, and my lower body is just like sore and achy. So like moving hurts. And sitting up straight has been starting to get tiresome. You know, fuck it, let's be ballsy. I realize being ballsy is a bad idea, and I've talked about this a number of times already, but we're doing it. Because fuck it. Now step back quick, Dwarf. Okay. And of course there was diamonds in that. Good news, chat. More migrants arrive. Guess they must have had a mule to carry their things. Brings us back up to 90. 91. 93. 90 llama. 90 gosling. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. 100. Fuck yeah. Did I say donkey? I meant to say thing. Why does it say despite the danger? Because a bajillion dwarves have died here. I think maybe 400 dwarves have died out of like 700 migrants total or something in this fort. Or sorry, more than that. It's like 640 dwarves have died out of like 700 or 800 dwarves that have migrated here at this point. Like, we've had such a fucking high body count. Massive body count. There's also 2 vampires that live here. Like, this is not a friendly place. And also you arrive here and immediately get thrown into the military whether or not you volunteered. Like, it's not the nicest spot to move to. No, they're not adults at 12. They're adults at 18. That was changed with premium. What? Oh, Gorlax, I see. Never mind. My bad. Gorlax are 110 to 150 lifespan. Gotcha. Sorry, I was reading that as children. I was like, what are we on about here? What year is it for Dwarf Fort? And there we go. They can now stand there, which is enough. This is also pretty ballsy here, because I may trip something. So far, so good. All right, Dwarf, walking into that is very unwise. So I'm just going to get rid of these so that they stop doing that. We've uncovered what must be a treasure of the gods, clearly. And another gem that's now burning. So a bunch more rings and scepters and things. There isn't another vampire in the New Migrants. That would be funny, wouldn't it? I'll just blame it on the old vampire and not worry about it. Although I never actually... None of those vampires migrated here. They were both made here. They became vampires here. They profaned gods in my temples and earned the rank of pyre. Minus the banger tunes from the video game. They're 4 foot tall. Human feet or dwarf feet? Because, like, pardon my ignorance here, but I feel like humans have bigger feet than dwarves. Just saying. Okay. So now that's clear. Also caving this in and letting the lava fall does me some good here because it makes obsidian, and then I have 2 tiles of lava I can remove. Forgotten beast named Eczema has come. It's a great newt with external ribs. It has a round shell and it undulates rhythmically. Its eyes glow violet and its lime skin is warty. Beware its sting. Where is it? Oh, wait, where it is. Oh, whatever. It can't get to me. That is kind of funny looking, though. Huh. Would you look at that? Chat room. Let's keep digging. To those of you who are still here, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Sorry about the drama, but it's hot today. It's too bloody hot in here. Well, not in here specifically, but more just like outside in general. Nope. Dwarf fell or jumped in here. Or fell in here, I'm not sure. Are not grabbing ammo. You have plenty of bolts. You just made a new uniform. Did you assign ammo to them? Did they have quivers? If they don't have quivers, which are made of lead or I think cloth or adamantine, they can't pick up ammo. So check for quivers, and that's my advice. I mean, it's the same word minus 1 letter, so yeah, Mako. Intelligent Undead. So YouTube chat asks if Dwarf Fortress has anything like warlocks or magic casters. Intelligent Undead have magic items, and there are certain adventure mode specific encounters where people have magic items that give them some magic powers. Warlocks specifically, though, not really. Necromancers can have some summoning abilities as well as body raising, body moving abilities. But they can straight up summon, like ghosts, basically. They're called shadows, and they like... I've had them summon them before. They appear on the map, and then they just summon like 40 of these fucking things, and then they just leave. You don't see it very often, but when you do, it's terrifying. You're like, what the fuck just happened? There are potions in Dwarf Fortress already. Intelligent Undead can use Force Pull, Force Push, shoot lightning, or shoot pain bolts, so things that like cause pain from a distance. If that's not real magic casters, then I don't know what is. And we have magic potions. They exist. They're primarily an adventure mode feature, though. If you get them in Fortress mode, which is kind of a pain in the ass, and lock a dwarf in a room with them, they will consume them. And it does have the same healing effect because they're healing potions. But they're not in Fortress mode just yet as a feature. But they'll get there. Mike Wazowski of the Korlak mod, there you go. A lot of the things that YouTube chat is currently discussing or mentioning are kind of already in the game, just mostly adventure mode features. This needs to be drained. But I need to get all these gems out of here first. Oh, can you see this? Well, that kind of reminds me of the SpongeBob SquarePants Sponge Man mod. You misheard and you thought that warlocks were consuming dwarves? Warlocks are a dwarven myth. They're kind of like centaurs, where sometimes you'll see art of them. Same with wizards. Like, you can add wizards as part of images and drawings. Sometimes dwarves do as well. Sometimes dwarves like wizards as well, which is funny. But they don't actually exist in the game in any way. It's actually one of my favorite things about Dwarf Fort, is that there's like in-world myths that the dwarves have. Which actually means Tarn meant to add something and then forgot or didn't. And then like the flavor text and legends were added for it, but the physical creature itself's existence wasn't, is usually what that actually means, which is just very funny to me, albeit also a little sad. You know, they used to just have some thought about casting LDM, and it meant that if you had a single necromancer in your fort fell moments later. So, while I don't disagree with you, I've seen the alternative. LDM in YouTube chat says, I think that necromancy being triggered by panic is not a good mechanic. They should give some thought about casting. You don't want to give them that power. It used to be like if you had a single necromancer in your fort, you would lock them in a room and never let them out. Because if you let them out, they would end your fort. Can a smith be named after you? Which one do you want? They're all in the military except for the one who's injured. They may also be in the military, but... Well, actually, Logan the weaponsmith isn't. Denbis is completely oblivious to the concept of neatness and will just leave his things strewn about without a care. Revels in chaos and discord and encourages it wherever possible. Are you 10 gremlins in a trench coat? He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others. I'm starting to think so. And tends to not reveal personal information. Because he is. And he dislikes this sort of concealment in the abstract because he's dumb, because he's a gremlin, and does not have a great aesthetic sensitivity. Well, yeah, duh, because he's a gremlin. He doesn't handle stress well, and he sometimes acts with little determination and confidence. He is not inherently proud of his talents and accomplishments, and he is quick to form negative views about things. He doesn't often act with compassion and lives a fast-paced life. He can occasionally lose focus on the matter at hand and has a greedy streak. He tends to hang on to grievances and needs alcohol to get through the working day. Doesn't really care about much anymore. Dreams of raising a family and personally believes that the perseverance is one of the greatest qualities that somebody can have. Feels that those who attempt to conceal their emotions are vain and foolish. And values good craftsmanship and values artwork. If you like levers, you're officially a gremlin. He likes quartzite, bilin, rose quartz, giant honey badger leather, snail shell, the color moss green, pet moss chat, armor stands, and geese for their formation flying. Skunk men for their distinctive striping, and when possible, prefers to consume capybara. That's what I named my my media PC. And maize flour and hazelnuts, and absolutely hates flies. You're married to Iral, the trapper, and she trappered to you, and you worship Kadol, the god of minerals and gems, and you've got 2 friends in the fortress, Dorok and Dumat. Dumat to others as you would have others Dumat to yourself. Dumat to you, that's what I meant to say. And I got dwarves making antimators. Oh my god, we've actually got trees growing in here finally. That's cool. I've got trees growing in the lava sea. I was about to raid somebody, Elfie. You're finally running it, but not for very long. Chat room. I realize the game just started saving. That takes uncomfortably long at this point. I'm hungry. I need to go make dinner. So I'm going to call it. We'll stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream will be shorter because I have to go pick up groceries in the afternoon. I'll try and build up the courage to stream some more of that other game, but it's not going to happen tomorrow because I just won't have the times. Don't run off, though. We're going to go raid somebody. If you would like to raid somebody, stick around. Plan for tomorrow is we will be dwarfing in the morning and dwarfing in the afternoon, I guess. And Friday, I will be playing some of that community succession fort. I'll do my 1 year. I don't think someone else will have time to do a turn in the 1 day prior, so we'll likely be reading Wolf's posts as well as McUrist's posts. YouTube chat. I'm shutting you down now. Unless you'd like to raid somebody with us, in which case pop over here onto Twitch. Otherwise, I will see you on the flip. VODs can be found at youtube.com/blindextras. Yeah. Laters, YouTube. Take care of yourselves. Is Eurist streaming? I haven't looked. I was going to go look and see if he's playing Dwarfists. If Eurist is streaming, then sure. If they're streaming the community fort. I don't know what they're streaming.